So the Canon R1 has officially been announced, and as a Canon user, I've been a Canon user my entire life, pretty much, since like 2006, very long time. It's exciting. It's the R1, it's the flagship, it's the top of the food chain for Canon. Well, what does it have to offer? We still don't know. What is it that I want? Well, I'll tell you what I want, and I'm sure we're not gonna be getting it. But with that said, it's happening. And by the way, I'm out here shooting with my favorite camera lens combo of all time, and that is a Canon R50 with the Lensbaby Sol 45. This just brings me a lot of joy. Okay, so what do we know about this camera? Not much, to be honest. We don't know much, but what we do know is, so far, is the basics, simple stuff. Better autofocus, okay. A new sensor, awesome. And then something they are calling the Digic Accelerator. It's the most powerful image processing system, that's what they're saying, that works along the Digic X. So we still have the Digic X, but the Digic Accelerator is making it stronger. It's accelerating the Digic X. Okay, here's a quote by Canon. It enables large volumes of data to be processed at high speeds and delivers never before seen advancements in autofocus, okay, and other functions. Okay, so other functions, that's the part that gets me. What are those other functions? Are these revolutionary functions? Or are they just functions that we already have that are just better? I'm hoping for a revolution. Does this mean that we're gonna be shooting at 120 frames a second, 240 frames a second, or higher than that? Or does it mean that this sensor is like a 100 megapixel sensor or a 120 megapixel sensor, and it's able to read out the data really quickly and efficiently? I doubt it, but what does it mean? What does other functions really mean, right? Now, interestingly enough, they did show this little like schematic, something called autofocus action priority. And they showed this little guy with a soccer ball, and pretty much the camera will be able to recognize who has the soccer ball, and I would assume it's going to be doing the same thing with basketball. So it's going to make those guys' jobs a lot easier. Follow the guy with the ball. I think that's really cool. That's in a way revolutionary, right? But that's really geared towards sports photographers. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, I'm not a sports photographer. What else do they have up their sleeves that's gonna make me say, yes, I want this camera like big time, right? I'm still excited, but it does have that feature, cool feature. Sooner or later, we're gonna be seeing it with other cameras, I think, in the future. She's hauling ass, they're hauling ass. And so what is it that I want from a camera like this? The top of the line camera, the top of the food chain, the best of the best. Nothing is better than this. I get this camera, I get features like this, such as internal memory. Give me 128 gigs of internal memory. The DJI Avata 2 has internal memory. Make that internal memory password protected with a fingerprint scanner. Give me a fingerprint scanner on the shutter button where only I could use the camera and no one else, right? And so it's features like that that I'm looking for. Also, the ability to insert an AirPod or something along those lines, just in case it gets stolen or it gets jacked or it gets lost. I want to be able to track it. To be able to add an AirTag or something like that would be phenomenal. Give me that. Why? Because it's the top of the line camera. 2 shutter buttons. Well, we already saw a picture of what the camera looks like, and it does not have 2 shutter buttons. It only has 1 shutter button. I mean, it has 2 shutter buttons, but it's programmed, it's the same button, right? 2 shutter buttons. Instead of doing C1, C2, and C3, give me just 2 different shutter buttons so I can quickly press this with one setting and press the other shutter button with another setting. 2 shutter buttons. We should already be at like 3 shutter buttons, but we still have 1. Okay, no big deal. Something that's very important and that I think they can implement even in something like this would be face recognition, something where it would prioritize a face, right? As a wedding photographer, I would like to show up with the bride and the groom, take some pictures of the bride's face, insert it into the camera, and tell the camera, prioritize this face. So when the bride is walking down the aisle, it's not fishing and looking for other faces. I'm telling it, look for that face. And it could be programmed for that shutter button, right? The shutter button for standard photography and the shutter button where it's always looking for the bride's face or the groom's face. That would be great, fantastic, but we're not there. Why aren't we there? I don't know, right? They're just gonna make it stronger. Great. What else? What else? An operating system. Give me an operating system, something where I'll be able to, and now this is a bit of a stretch, but I just don't know why we're not here yet. Something where we can access an app store and something to where we can render slideshows within the camera, export them into the memory card, give the memory card to the DJ and say, hey DJ, play this, this slideshow that I just rendered out on my camera on the big screen, so the bride and groom can see some of the pictures that I've taken throughout the day and more things, right? So like let me give you an example. To be able to connect a printer directly to the camera and print from the camera instead of using the cell phone. Again, we're using the operating system, we're using the processor of the cell phone to print out these images. Why not just eliminate the cell phone? I don't think we're getting that. I just think it's going to be a stronger camera, faster camera. Cool. But with that said, I'm excited, but I'm not getting what I want. Let's take a couple more pictures. Hey, look, I was gonna take some pictures of these roses here, and well, they look like roses. Are they roses? I don't know, but anyhow. And the sun is gone. And it's gonna be gone for the rest of the evening, I think, because the clouds are traveling in this direction and all of that is just clouds. Usually this is filled with water, but there's no water right here, right now, which means I can take some pictures from here. What is it you want to see in the Canon R1? Like, what's the big one? What's the one thing? What's the dream? For example, the biggest evolution in the camera industry has been going mirrorless, right? The electronic viewfinder. That's been the game changer. The electronic viewfinder has been the last real evolution in the industry. Yeah, and what's next? What's next? What's the next revolution? Are we still in the flip phone era of DSLRs? I think we're still in the flip phone era of DSLRs, but we'll see what happens. We'll just have to wait.